So the Super Carlin brothers just put out a video recently, and I love them. I love watching their videos. I can't watch them all. I don't have enough time, but I love their videos. I think they're so much fun to watch, and I enjoy watching them like talk things out. I find that a critical thinking skill, the way they do it, very fascinating. Of how I do a lot of my thinking, and a lot of my way too in-depth Harry Potter thinking. I do something similar as well. But with this last video, they're talking about why was Wormtail in Gryffindor. And while I think they made excellent points and I love the video and I love them, something that they said has been irking me so deeply. So I'm doing obsessive research about the Sorting Hat because it's been bothering me. Ben, in the video, he said essentially which house will end up stuck with Wormtail. That's kind of what it came down to. He didn't really exemplify the traits of any house. He was just kind of there. So which house would be left with him? Which house would be stuck with him? Obviously, I'm loosely paraphrasing, but that has been bothering me for so many reasons. First of all, he's 11 at the time of the sorting. I know the Sorting Hat's a really complicated magical object, and there's a lot of mystery and confusion about it. It's really powerful and it's really fascinating. And I think us as readers are so drawn to this idea because this is what we hope for. This is what we dream. Everyone reading and watching this series, that moment of the Sorting Hat, that's one of the things you wonder. It's like your wand. What will you get? Your Patronus. What will it be? In that sorting house, it's like, where will he sort me? And there's that allure and that mystery, and it's something that we crave and we want as people who love the series. So I think that's why we focus a lot about it and on houses, because it makes us feel like a part of this wonderful, magical world. But that moment in the sorting, he's 11. I don't think the Sorting Hat was looking into his mind thinking, who's gonna be stuck with your dumb ass? Wormy. Let's see. You will be a coward your whole life. Sorry about that. Can't do anything about that. You will betray your best friend. Oh, and also frame one of them for the murder that you led to because you betrayed the secret. And also, you're going to be a rat for a long time. Don't worry, you'll cut a finger. I guess that's some kind of karma there. And you're also going to sleep in the same room as the son of the best friends whose murder you left because you're secretly his best friend's pet rat for a couple years until your other best friends who you framed for the murder come back to find out you're alive and try to kill you. So then you run off and go help the bad guy that you initially left them to go help. Yeah, it's convoluted. Okay, I get it. He's a complicated person. He's not the best character. I get it. It's not even morally gray. A lot of morally bad stuff there. No questions about it. As an 11-year-old, you can't tell me the Sorting Hat looked at him. It's like, oh, you're gonna do this stuff. Who's gonna be stuck with you? That's been bugging me so much. So I've been doing some research, and the only concrete knowledge about the Sorting Hat that's really out there is one, it was the hat of Godric Gryffindor. The four founders, they're debating how to sort students into the school because they already figured out they're gonna have the houses. So Godric Gryffindor pulls off his hat and they're like, magic. I don't know the spell. Magic the hat. And poof, the hat, not really poof, I guess there's a lot more than poof. But they embedded so much magic and so much of themselves into this hat that it became sentient. And it understood what the four founders valued and understood people, and it's legitimate. It literally says on Pottermore that the hat is legitimate. Meaning it can read people's mind. The thing that was so prominent in the 5th book / movie with Snape and Harry and Voldemort, blah 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 blah. It can read people's mind. So this hat has been around since the beginning of Hogwarts, which means it knows more about the school than any other possible living creature today. So at the beginning of every year, the little first-year students are brought up to the Sorting Hat, and the hat's placed on their head, and the hat tells them which house it will belong to. The brave heart go to Gryffindor, the wiser ones go to Ravenclaw, the kind and loyal ones to Hufflepuff, and the cunning and ambitious to Slytherin. And then there's kind of a lot of talk about the different houses. Not a bad witch or wizard hasn't come out of Slytherin, blah, blah, blah. I'm not even getting into that right now. But, so the hat sorts them to these different houses and then gets put on a stool and goes back to the headmaster's office and comes up with a song for the next year and sorts students again, and the cycle repeats. The hat, also being so strongly connected to Godric Gryffindor, also has capability to allow a brave Gryffindor to pull the sword of Godric Gryffindor out from the hat, as we saw Harry do in the Chamber of Secrets and Neville in Deathly Hallows. And that's about what we know about the hat officially. There's a lot of other speculation that people do, like Super Collin Brothers, because I mentioned them earlier. They did a whole video about why don't people know about the sorting. Clearly, this is an old hat. Why don't the first year students know going into it what's going to happen or what this hat's about or how they're getting sorted, really? They have no clue about the process. Even Hermione, who's read all of Hogwarts history inside and out, knows everything, has no clue how they're getting sorted. A lot of speculation about that. There's nothing really confirmed. So this is where some of my speculation is going to come forth. So the sorting hat is a legitimate. That's how it determines where you're sorted. It also is how it communicates with you. It can read your mind. You put the hat on and it whispers to you and talks to you and determines where you are best placed. And then it announces to the Great Hall where you're going. But it's in your mind, it's talking. So it sees into your mind, not into the future, but it sees in your mind. It's hearing your thoughts and who you are. And there's a lot of different instances of what's happened. Obviously, Harry is the most famous because he asked not Slytherin. And the hat was debating between Gryffindor and Slytherin. He was showing possibilities and qualities of both. But he asked not Slytherin, and the hat followed his wish. But there are other instances where somebody was asking for a house, and the hat was like, nah, bro, you're going over here. With Neville, he did not feel he was a Gryffindor. He sat on the hat for a long time because he's saying, I can't be a Gryffindor. I'm not brave enough. I can't do this. I put me in Hufflepuff. I just put me to the side. I don't want to be in Gryffindor. I can't handle that. And the hat argued with him, nah, you're going to Gryffindor. You can do this. And put him in Gryffindor regardless of his wish, which was kind of the opposite of Harry, where the hat followed his wish. Hermione took a while because was she more Ravenclaw? Was she more Gryffindor? Where did she fall? Then there are hat stalls, which we don't really see a lot of in the movie. I don't really remember if they're fully mentioned in the book, but Pottermore goes into them a bit more. Hat stalls are people who take 5 minutes or more to be sorted. You see, like, some people, the hat's on their head, and instantly they're sorted, like, no question. Like, the Draco's kind of famous, it barely skims his hair, and Slytherin. But hat stalls are when they're debating. I'm not going to go too much into this because Super Collin Brothers did this a little bit better than I can explain. But like Minerva McGonagall, she was a hat stall. It was either Ravenclaw or Gryffindor, and ultimately sorted into Gryffindor. And there's a joke that Flitwick was also Ravenclaw to Gryffindor, and he was Ravenclaw, and their whole lives could have been flip-flopped. But anywho, it's deliberating on these different qualities in them, taking their choices into account, but also not, and it's talking to them, and it's looking at so much, I think. Peter Pettigrew was a hat stall. They talk about this in the video. They argue it's because he showed so little qualities of all the houses. There's kind of a process of elimination. Where did he belong? And this is where I get really frustrated because he was 11. Yes, Peter Pettigrew is such a coward. He is a cowardly man and always kind of has been. But I think him being sorted into Gryffindor makes sense. Fear is not the opposite of bravery. Bravery is not the absence of fear, but rather the ability to overcome it and do what needs to be done regardless of the fear you felt. I think Neville's a really good example of that. He is very cowardly, but more so because he didn't believe in himself. But regardless of his own fears, he still is able to step up. That doesn't mean he's not brave for having those fears. Rather, it shows his strength because he's able to step beyond his fears. So what I think happens when the sorting hat is in your mind, when it's deliberating with you, it's looking through your characteristics and what's happening in there. I think it's not just looking at your personality and who you are. I think it's looking at who you want to become. Who do you want to be and how do you want to get there? Do you want to be the wisest witch or wizard of your age? What are you willing to do to get there? Are you going to sabotage everyone else or study your butt off? Studying your butt off would lean towards Ravenclaw, but sabotaging everyone's a little bit more clever, a little bit more of that determination that Slytherin has. So even though two people with the same goal, the way they might want to go about to achieve it is different. And that kind of starts determining it. People aren't clean cut one thing or another, especially not at 11 years old. I think what the Sorting Hat does more than anything, it looks at you, who you are, who you want to be, and how you want to get there, and your potential to be so much more. Because that's what every young kid is. It's just a bundle of potential of something to be. And it looks at the choices that you might need to make to get to the person you want to be and sorts you into the best place to get there. And for me, that makes the most sense to how the Sorting Hat works. For Harry, Slytherin or Gryffindor could have easily gotten him to his goals. He wanted to be accepted. He wanted to have a family. He wanted to feel like he belonged. That's what he craved more than anything. The Mirror of Erised showed him his family, something that he felt he lacked with the Dursleys, and understandably so, even though they were his blood family. It was not that great. Ron saw himself achieving greatness. Hermione, obviously very clever, but she has that wild brave streak. Neville, he wanted to be Hufflepuff because he didn't think he could be a Gryffindor. He didn't think he could live up to his parents' legacies as Gryffindors. The Sorting Hat took a look inside his mind and looked and saw the potential he had to be brave and put him in the place that would help him cultivate that and be that person that he could be. I think the person he secretly wanted to be, even if he was scared. And I think this is very true with Pettigrew. It put him in the place that gave him the best potential to be what he wanted to be. And what he was so scared. I believe he just wanted to not be scared. Here comes the choice. Just because you're set on a path doesn't mean you're going to follow it. Doesn't mean that it's going to determine who you are. You have every choice in who you are and how you get there. And the reason I believe this is so true is because that's one of the dominant themes in this series. One of my favorite themes, the choice of who you get to be, and the choice of who you want to be, and who you're going to become, and how you're going to get there. Every single character is faced with challenges, and how they choose to overcome it determines who they are. That's something that's always been very inspiring to me with this series. One of my favorite moments is this moment of choice in the 7th book. This isn't so much in the movie, and I'm not talking about that movie right now. Anywho, in Deathly Hallows, at the beginning, when Ron, Harry, and Hermione, they're plotting their trip, they're sitting around, and Hermione's been doing research on Horcruxes, and they ask her how to destroy one. Can you unmake one? And she replies, yes, but the process is so horrible, most people die from it, most people can't do it. And it's to feel remorse, to truly and deeply regret what you have done, to truly feel bad for what you've done. You can't just say, oh yeah, I'm sorry, and not mean it. You have to feel it. You have to choose to be the person that's going to feel the regret of the pain and suffering you've caused. Then at the end of the books, when Harry and Voldemort are circling and they're talking in that moment in the Great Hall, Voldemort asks him, what now? What now? And Harry says, there's only one thing left for you, remorse. And in the end, Harry is still giving him that chance to choose who he wants to be, to choose to be something better. Because we all have light and dark inside of us, but it's what we choose to be and what we choose to act on that determines who we are. That idea of choice is so strong and so prominent that's why I think the Sorting Hat is also about who we want to be and how do we want to get there. It's giving us a chance. So if you want to be brave, it's going to surround you with brave people to kind of show you how to get there. I think that's why Peter Pettigrew got sorted into Gryffindor, because not because he was exuding braveness, but because he wanted to be braver. Unfortunately for him, he didn't learn to be brave the way Neville did and believe in himself. He learned to be brave by hiding in the shadows of others, which ultimately never let him accumulate his own braveness. He did show that ounce of bravery at the end, where this cowardly man at the end of his life, who's been a coward and running and hiding and betraying everybody just to try to save his own skin, that moment of hesitation with the enchanted hand in saving Harry's life, not huge, but for a cowardly man, that hesitation showed that potential of bravery that the Sorting Hat saw in that 11-year-old. I think that obviously that moment, the Sorting Hat didn't see into the future, but that shows who Pettigrew could have been. Unfortunately, he dies right after, so he doesn't get to really see this brave potential of him, but it's a side note, so whatever. So yeah, that's my hot take for today. We'll see if this is a first of many videos of me going on Harry Potter rants. I don't really know what's gonna happen. I guess we'll see how long it takes me to edit this, because there's a lot of me doing weird stuff. Yeah, let me know what you think. If you agree, disagree. Super Carlin Brothers, if you ever watch this, I love you guys. I think you're amazing, and I would love to be your best friends, because I think you guys would be so much fun to talk to all day. Just side note, so holler at your girl. So what do you think? Do you think Sorting Hat is about potential and choice and who somebody can be, or do you think it looks deep inside them and predetermines what they'll do? Let me know, think, disagree about this video. Yeah, and maybe I'll see you again. So I'm doing obviously I'm loosely paraphrasing, but researching the Sorting Hat and trying to figure my tongue do that weird thing. Just went like, I saw that was weird. Harry and Voldemort, blah 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 blah. Forgot my train of thought. Oh, what was I saying? The hat. As we saw Harry did in as we this is an old hat, people should know about it. Why don't the freshmen? God damn, I hope I can edit this video, or else this is gonna be really highly awkward. People are gonna think I have Rona when I just ate an egg too fast this morning and a piece just went down my throat. This is gonna be a challenge. What was I saying before the Rona? So the hat is illegitimate, and I might be saying that word wrong, but that's whatever. Was she more Ravenclaw or was she Gryffindor? Gryffindor has been. So the hat, yes, obviously the hat. But what about the hat? Speculation about the hat. What was I speculating? I think I'm gonna stop this part.